Welcome to McLaren Tampa Bay. Today we're going to take a look at this new 600 LT, and we're going to see the main differences that make this long tail LT car so special, and the big difference from the 570S she's based on, and what makes this one so nuts. We're going to start right at the front here. Looking low down, the main diffuser has been and front splitter has been increased in size by almost 60%. Unbelievable differences here to control airflow around the car. You'll notice canards built right into the vehicle, pushing that nose and pinning this front end to the road on lower, stiffer suspension. The main wheels are pushed out almost an inch each side. 40% stiffer suspension on the rear gives us unbelievable ground control. The steering rack up front here has been made shorter. So if you think about that, it's less turns from lock to lock. Probably my favorite steering rack of any McLaren to date. The finish here is a silica white, and we ordered it with all of the carbon fiber options down low just to really give that nice contrast. LED lighting as in all the McLarens, but on the Sports Series cars, we have our daytime running light in the shape of the McLaren logo, which is rather a nice detail. The more you look at a McLaren, the more detail you see and realize what a wonderful job the engineers have done for us. Now we're going to take a look at the side of the car and show you some of the real LT differences. Now here at the side of the 600 LT, we really start to see the differences from the 570S she's based on. In full lightweight equipment, she's about 220 pounds lighter. The way they've achieved that is lightening suspension components. We're using the 720 brakes, the 720 brake calipers, which are also skimmed out and shrink wrapped to save some weight. The more weight you save, of course, the less you're asking the brakes to do, the tires to turn, and the engine to push. So with less weight, she is much more effective on track. These side skirts are a huge difference from the 570 again, catching air and keeping that air close to the vehicle for ultra-high speed stability. In lots of videos you'll hear about the performance stats and so on, but no one ever talks about high-speed stability of these cars. At 150 miles an hour, in Mexico somewhere, you can definitely feel the car sitting like a big fat frog on the road. It's not light, it's not bouncy, and that's a big key to every McLaren. The LT, our long tail cars, going back to a McLaren F1 from the 90s that was used in racing, and she was actually stretched almost 3 feet. These cars, not to that extreme of course, because they're road cars, but all of this airflow and air control make them truly, truly special cars. Because she's lighter and increased power from the engine isn't just a little bit modified turbo pressure. The whole top half of the motor is new. 40% of the engine is actually new. The cylinder heads were reworked, incorporating fuel spray to create those famous flames that the 600 has become known for. As we open up the door, of course, same thing as most McLarens, opens up in a very small space, revealing our big carbon fiber frame underneath the car. This particular vehicle is specified with the power sport seat. I can order it with the P1 carbon shell, or I can now do finally the McLaren Senna seat with its amazing shoulder supports that looks amazing in the car. The seat is incredibly light, just under 10 pounds for the entire seat, so pretty amazing. The carbon fiber is all optional in the car, but we recommend that just to join in with the exterior carbon. It's just a nice look throughout. There are limited options on the interior colors because generally she's going to be used on track, so they don't offer many light colors. It's all ready to get in and go. The visibility in the 570 was wonderful. In the 600, because she sits a little lower, you seem to see more road. It's very strange, quite a strange sensation. The power of the brakes is a big difference from 570. 14-inch rear rotors on a 570S. On the 600, they've gone to the 15-inch rear rotor off the 720. With the rear wing, that allows us to put that larger rear rotor, giving just amazing braking power. The sound the 600 creates through this amazing exhaust is just unbelievable. They've actually made the glass thinner on the rear here, just 2 mil thick. You can almost punch through it. To give a nice feeling of a sensation of driving the car. From 570S to 600 LT, they've stiffened the engine mounts. The engine mount being stiffer, when you're sitting at a traffic light or between about 3,000 and 5,000 RPM, you definitely feel the engine vibrating the seat. It's quite an engaging sensation. And that's what LT is about, is giving you more and more feedback than, frankly, most of the cars have today. So now we're at one of my favorite areas of the 600 LT, this huge rear diffuser. Though you'll notice those 5 vertical fences down there, just monstrous scale. So again, at ultra high speed, you're going to pull that air and control it from left to right. Imagine braking into a corner and you're controlling the air that much. Your stability is unbelievable, and it allows you to position the car on the track better than most other vehicles available today. The big deal with 600 LT, of course, is they've removed the exhaust pipes from way down here and given us an exhaust pipe from the catalytic converter out is only 310 mil. That's just over a foot. So there's not much for the aftermarket guys, I suppose, with that one. But yes, once you get the engine nice and warm, she will have an active flame, which will burn the air above the rear wing here, pushing that car down. She operates from about 40 to 130 miles an hour in regular driving, but you can superheat the engine by checking the oil and have those flames coming out for a launch. It is, in the evening time, the flame is almost white coming out of these exhausts, and frankly, one of the most exciting things I've ever seen on a car. The back of the car is one of my favorite areas because there's so much ventilation, so many open areas, these new mesh areas that they've incorporated just to save some weight and again, be more efficient with getting that heat out of that engine bay. Really wonderful. Well, thank you for watching this video on the new 600 LT. If we can answer any questions on the car, we're always glad to help here at the Dimmitt Automotive Group. Join us at www.dimmitt.com and look for more videos in the future. Thank you.